And that is kind of where we come up with the amount. Of course, we try to be consistent at the same time.
Sure.
But every situation is different.
Understood. But using good judgment, I think, is an important part of it.
Yes.
So, thank you.
We want to be mindful because we don't want to run people out of business. We
Right.
want to keep the income stream for the
Right.
state going.
Well, it didn't appear in this particular case 34 that this was a willing participant for resolution. He seemed a little bit defiant based on the narrative.
Very defiant.
So I would think something that he would feel would be suitable for this situation.
I'm good with this.
Yeah, I'm good with this.
A quick question on this. There seem to be a lot more unlicensed activity cases in this report than in past. What do we do in terms of following up to make sure that the fine does it? You know, what's to stop this person paying their $10,000 fine and keep on doing what they're doing?
Well, we can continue to monitor via sending out inspectors to that location. Of course, if they don't pay the fine, having a full trial is going to have a huge impact on that individual or dealer. We also follow up with clerks in their local area to make sure that they're not registering any cars.
I guess that's what I'm asking. When we have something like this who's been sort of defiant, maybe they do pay the fine. Do we have it as part of our normal process to follow up, make sure they're not just continuing to do what they were doing?
Yes, I mean, honestly, I've not seen a lot of repeat offenders. So maybe it's not our standard, but we can make it our standard. And I say that because we just haven't, I don't think I've ever seen a follow-up complaint to an unlicensed activity once we presented it and sent out a consent order, whether we're able to collect or not. But we have the ability to make it a standard process. But we do make it standard to reach out to the clerks to let them know that we're looking into this or we voted on it, that we've assessed a fine, and that please don't register any paperwork for a vehicle sold by this dealer.
So the
You can follow up with auctions too, because most of these unlicensed individuals are getting their vehicles at auctions somehow.
So what's the next step? Now, on this particular one, say if this is our guy who's not going to stop, if he is making a lot of money and he is defiant and wants to keep going, then if it's a licensed dealer, we can revoke their license. But we have nothing to revoke here. What is the stop? What is the brick wall for this situation? And we see it a lot now for some reason.
I mean, I believe that if a clerk isn't going to register your vehicles, there's no way for you to continue.
And you can also include
Unless
in your
you're just, in a criminal enterprise, and that's kind of beyond our powers. We can send it to law enforcement and the AG's office.
Yeah, that's
And
what-
it's,
yeah,
I mean, we
next
can
step.
always do that, and we
Yeah.
do that when it's severe.
Okay.
And you can include in your vote that you want an inspector to go out in 6 months' time, 3 months' time, whatever you think is an appropriate amount of time to ensure that they no longer are running this kind of unlicensed dealership.
Absolutely.
That's
Not
what I
necessarily
had.
in this case. I was just wondering in general if we have a process, and it sounds like we do. I mean, and you're
Yeah.
right, working with the clerks probably the.
Yeah, Denise is pretty consistent on reaching out to the clerks and providing them the consent order and the information that the commission discussed to ensure that no more vehicles are getting licensed from that are getting registered through that dealer.
But I did have in my notes to flag as a follow-up to make sure that this ceases.
Okay. So then the next one is 55, which is mine. And this one was a little bit unique because this is for a dealer who the 6 individuals involved all did eventually become licensed salespeople, and they were transferring their license from a different dealer, which had they filed their application and then started selling vehicles, that wouldn't have been a problem. However, each of these 6 people sold a certain amount of vehicles, which totaled up to 63. Prior to submitting their transfer license application. So technically, each of those are unlicensed sales. And so we discussed that as a group, and we thought $20,000 was an appropriate fine due to the number of vehicles that were sold prior to each of those individuals getting licensed at this specific dealer.
Well, on this particular one, do you know what time frame that they waited to get them relicensed? Because they had licenses before, they just didn't have the new one for where they were at.
So it varied for each person. Some people they were a month and they were selling it. Some people were like 5 or 6 months. It varied for each person. Each person did eventually transfer their license and complete that application. However, each of these people, it varied for each person. There was some that were short and then some that were longer, but they were all selling vehicles through. There was one person that sold, I want to say, about like 50 of the vehicles, and so that was the most extended of it. And then the other ones were just selling a few here and there before they transferred their license, but there was a total of 63 vehicles sold.
Was this, in your opinion, an administrative oversight, or was this just negligence? I mean, how was the investigation when the dealer was notified or the investigation happened to determine this? Did they willingly work with you and quickly resolve?
So they did provide a list of their a list of the salespeople and the sales that happened. And so that's how we kind of lined up who sold this, and we looked through our database to figure out when they transferred their license. So they did provide that information. This one was a little bit interesting. So a notice of violation was issued for unlicensed activity. Then somebody within the dealership also filed a complaint and provided us information. And so they, which is not typical, they kind of whistle blew on it, on the information, and they provided us all of that. And so then that's how we connected the dots. So there was a involved party that was providing a lot of information, yes.
The next two,
But the dealer principal was involved in.
They responded and they signed the notice of
quickly resolved.
violation, yeah.
It just, I flagged this one as being a stiff fine. I thought.
I'm open to what the commission
Yeah.
thinks. We just came up with that number due to the amount
Yeah,
of sales.
I thought so, but I just didn't know the backstory. Sometimes the backstory tells, what really happened, the intent. I mean, I can understand as a dealer, the administrative oversight, when you get
Yeah.
some larger facilities, it's easy
Yeah.
to happen.
It seems like negligence or an oversight because, I mean, they did all eventually become licensed. It's not like they continued on forever without transferring their license. So I think that is something to consider. We just determined that number based on it being 63
Why don't we
vehicles.
consider doing 10 grand on this one instead of the 20?
Yeah, I would certainly consider a lesser amount.
Did they happen to come from another dealer that was associated with, like, were they transferred from another store, or just, they were just hired in?
From what I can recall, each of them were a transfer license, not to a dealer connected to this respondent, but from a different dealer.
Yeah, because I find in the industry, it's pretty common for salespeople to move around. I think we're all aware of that. But, it's not very widely known how that goes down as far as, now, we understand it. And it's really nice. You can do it online. It's simple. But I can see an administrative oversight. So I would lean towards your suggestion, recommendation.
So on the history, it shows none. So do we take that as this is an otherwise problem-free organization?
Yes,
Okay.
based on complaints that we've received.
Well,
There's been no
to-
disciplinary history
to
within
our
the last
knowledge.
5 years.
Okay, and they've got a history. They're not a brand-new organization. It's,
Yeah, they were licensed. It looks like the first time they were licensed was in 2022.
it's fairly new, but.
Yeah. But the record's clean.
Correct.
But it's also, there are multiple, I don't know if it's a franchise, I don't know if you would call that a franchise. There are multiples of this particular name across the state. This may be just another location. Just used, yes.
Just use, yes. No, this is not connected to any other case.
So when,
They're, 56 and 57 are connected. They're just not connected to 55. Yes.
so you say there's multiples of this organization, but across, for the ones in 55,
At least two.
so of those, there's not like another part of the associated organization that's problematic? This is sort of this is atypical of the organization as a whole?
Correct, yes.
So hard to remember not to say the name. But yes.
I get it, and I don't want to, pull anybody
right,
out in
right.
public, but it just, in terms of just their, trying to get the feel, because I don't disagree with, the other commissioners saying that maybe we do a lower fine if this is kind of a first thing for the organization. Now, if it's something where they tend to play hard and fast with the rules, and it's just the first time at this particular location, that would feel differently about it. But if it's generally speaking, there are good business practices, and this is an outlier, I can completely understand the recommendation.
And there are only 2 active of the same name. And the one location in one area and another newer location, this one that opened up in 2022. And I will say, and I think Commissioner Levy said it, that there seemed to be an awful lot of unlicensed activity on this report. We noticed that as well, and actually Jason and I have been talking about getting together with our IT team, and we're gonna create a report where we can run expired salespersons. I mean, we send them notices, and we say, you know, your license is up for renewal, et cetera. But if we can run a report with expired salespersons who are connected to active dealers, then we can give them even more of a heads up and reach out and say, hey, you know, you realize that this has not been done, and, you know, this is gonna be an issue going forward if you don't remedy it.
Back to the issue whether this was an administrative problem, or whether it was, I don't know, them just not want to do it. In my opinion, if these were new hires, it should be the responsibility of the dealership to make sure they have a proper licensing. But what you're bringing up as far as renewals, it's hard for sometimes an organization to keep up with everybody's renewal, where the organization doesn't necessarily get the renewal. We're relying on the salespeople to do that.
Well, no, theoretically, the system is set up so that the salesperson, and that's why we do transfers, the salesperson is actually connected to the actual dealership. So the renewal notices ought to be going to the dealership to which they are attached at that moment in time. I'm not gonna say that always happens, but that's the idea behind it. So it should be going to an email address or a physical letter to a physical address of the actual dealer who is connected to that salesperson.
I think we've had some issues with that.
Okay.
Within our organization, but we might not be registering correctly or putting our contact information. But back to the notice that you're going to be sending out, would that go to the dealerships or would that go to the individuals?
To the dealership.
Perfect, yeah.
And just to clarify, Jason double-checked, 5 of them, I'm sorry, he checked 1. For sure, 1 of them was a new license, not a transfer, but the majority of the 6 people licensed here were transfer applications.
But the notice goes to the previous store they were at, not the new one they're going to. Which way?
It should go to the new one. If they're an active licensee, they can only work at a different dealership when they
Okay.
actually physically transfer their license.
Okay.
So at that point in time, the new dealership's name would be connected.
Well, that makes me feel better, because I was
Yes,
thinking it was
yes.
going in a rearview mirror, and why would anybody from the previous store want to pass that on, that info, to the salesperson? So anyway, I've got that straight.
But I'm open to discussion for it remaining at 20,000 or being lowered to 10,000. I know, like I said, they each did eventually become licensed under this dealer.
So we're okay with the 10. Nelson, you okay with that? Ian?
Okay with that?
Okay. Next.
And then the next one is 72, which in this, during an annual inspection at respondent's location, an inspector discovered that the dealership's manager, who is the spouse of the owner of the dealership, was operating on an expired sales license. And additionally, the owner was also operating on an expired sales license, which expired in 2018, and the manager expired in 2023. Their annual sales report shows the business sold 99 vehicles in 2024. 11 in 2025, in January of 2025, 15 in February of 2025, and 11 in March 2025. Accordingly, I was recommending a $20,000 civil penalty based on the number of sales that happened without a licensed salesperson.
This looks very similar to the one we just talked about. So, I mean, I'm going to ask the same
Yeah.
questions. Were they willing, receptive to the investigation? Did they quickly resolve? Or, I mean, was it administrative oversight?
Let me take, Jason, would you mind to see if they've renewed their license for this one, for their salespersons? Jason's gonna look up if they've renewed their salesperson's license, and I'm gonna pull up the file to see their response.
Yeah, as a dealer's supposed to know that they have licensed their salespeople. I understand that. But I can understand where it can be overlooked. I mean, I've actually had that happen in my 40 years of doing this. But I mean, when I leave these meetings, first thing I do is send an email out to all the onboarding staff, HR. I said, please make sure, and we do audits regularly to make sure we have licensed salespeople. So we have hundreds of licensed sales dealers.
It's for salespeople for number 72, Jason. Well, okay.
So do we want to treat this one the same way?
Yes. Yeah. If
Reduce it from 20 to 10?
If it's the same, if they can check the boxes, they've done all the things they're supposed to do, and they've licensed all the sales staff.
Okay, so since this was open from a notice of violation, it doesn't, just see if they have any licensed salespeople, Jason. Since this was open for a notice of violation, it didn't go out for a response as it typically does. I requested a response from them on April 21st, 2025, and they have not responded since that date.
So they've not responded since April 21st?
Correct.
So you haven't, I mean, are they aware of the potential fine?
They know they got a notice of violation because they signed that when the inspector was out there informing them that they had no licensed salespeople. But and I sent them the complaint and let them know a complaint had been open, but they had not responded.
So if we reduce the fine from 20,000 to 10,000, they get that. They're probably going to be shocked to get a $10,000 fine, even that. So, I mean, I would if you sent me a
Yes.
fine for 10,000 and I corrected the problem and I got a 10,000. You know, if you told me, well, it was 20,000, I'm still thinking 10,000 is a lot of money. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but if they're unresponsive, I'm not really of a mind to reduce the staff's recommended fine
Okay.
based on supposition, especially if they're unresponsive. I'd probably stick to the staff recommendation until we got good reason not to.
Have they corrected the problem?
okay.
So yes, they've corrected the problem. They have 4 active salespeople now.
Well, when they receive the fine, they can plead their case with the staff, correct?
Yeah, I can represent this if they come
Okay.
back and they have
Yeah.
a request for reconsideration. I can definitely represent it at the next meeting. It looks like they sell about 99 vehicles in a year is what it tends to be. And so if you don't think $20,000 is appropriate for that amount of vehicles, I'm open to entertain a lower civil penalty. But that's just what we typically do with this amount of unlicensed sales. So
They did correct the problem. They did comply.
Yes.
So I find that good intent, and so I think that we should reduce it.
Yeah, and I'll amend my previous comment. I'll take the getting everyone licensed as a response.
Yeah.
Yep.
But do we have an avenue where we can give them a was-is kind of statement of it was $20,000, the Motor Vehicle Commission, because they responded and licensed everybody, we reduced it to 10, so they have some idea of the magnitude of.
in the letterhead of it, we mentioned that the commission discussed the case, and I can include in that council's recommendation was $20,000. The commission felt $10,000 was appropriate since the issue was fixed, and we now have 4 licensed sales.
Listen,
So if that's possible, I guess I'd ask my fellow commissioners if that would be desirable. Would you want to have a was-is where they knew
I mean-
that the commission was looking out for them?
yeah, I think that's a noble gesture, but I'm going to say if a dealership's selling 99 cars a year, there's not much difference between 10,000 and 20,000 from an economic impact. That's a heavy blow. So, I mean, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Is fine, but that's still, if I'm that dealer, I'm gonna plead my case and beg for mercy. You know, that's more than their rent in 1 month, probably. You know, for that size lot.
And that's at the commission's discretion if you want it to be lower than $10,000 now, or if you want me to send the $10,000 and see what they come back with and reconsider it at that point. That's in the commission's discretion.
Can we make it 10 at this moment and then give you the ability to, if you find other exceptions or problems?
Yeah, if they
you
come
can
back and
ignore
they
it?
provide a response that I think sheds a little bit more light on what's happening and gives a little bit more information, I can definitely represent it at the next meeting, and you can determine whether or not you think that qualifies a lower civil
Okay.
penalty.
I like that, and I think that's a good
Let's
plan.
do that.
Okay. And then I have another one that is similar to this that I need to do a verbal update for, so we can just get into that since we're on this kind of discussion. It's for number 103. Sorry, I'm trying to find it on the paper. Okay. This dealer for 103, they did not have a active licensed salesperson since 2024. However, we received a tip and we started reviewing their information and realized they have been selling vehicles without a licensed salesperson since 2024. Their license came up for renewal. They applied. They were denied due to not having a licensed salesperson. So initially, this was going to be a close and flag since they were no longer licensed. However, they have since followed up with the program, and we have spoken with the owner of the dealer. Essentially, the owner explained that they were under the belief that as the owner of a dealer, they did not need to have a license to sell vehicles, which is only appropriate in a sole proprietorship, not in an LLC. So they were under the incorrect belief of that. And they have now applied for a licensed salesperson and are waiting to have their application resubmitted for their dealer's license until the commission decides what the appropriate civil penalty would be if they were to reopen and have a licensed salesperson. We do not have the number of vehicles that they sold because they did not submit an annual report. However, they have not had somebody licensed since, I believe, April of 2024.
So the dealer was selling cars, thinking, since he had a license for the
Dealership,
organization,
yes.
It was good for him to sell
Yes,
cars.
that's what he was under the belief of. And then he had another licensed salesperson whose license expired in 2024 of April of 2024, I believe.
Well, was he selling vehicles with an expired license, or was he not there anymore?
We don't have that information. They did not submit an annual sales report, and then when we spoke with them, he made it seem like that person left the dealership, but I believe that person is now coming back and are one of the people that applied for a license at this dealership because we expressed to them we're holding their license currently until the commission decides what the appropriate civil penalty should be and they get all of their licenses renewed. We told them to go ahead and submit the application for a licensed salesperson. That way they can move on with the renewal because their renewal was denied initially because they didn't have any licensed salesperson included in their application.
As per normal, can't we just empower you to come up with an appropriate recommended fine once you determine how many cars they've been selling? If you're able to-
Yeah, we can hold this off into the next one, and we can get more information on how many vehicles were sold if you want to know exact number. This was a closing flag until we spoke with them the other day after we submitted the report, and so we have just begun speaking with them, and we wanted to see what the commission's feelings were on it. We had discussed, I believe, $20,000 like the other ones, just because it was such an extended period of time, nearly over a year, that they didn't have a licensed salesperson. But if you would rather have a bigger picture of how many vehicles were sold by each person at that dealership without a license, that's something we can definitely include on the next report.
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't need to tell you. I mean, I think you have the authority to come up with a recommended amount once you have all the information, and you can present that to us at the next.
Yeah, no, you don't need to vote on that. We didn't know if you wanted to discuss it and set a civil penalty now for the unlicensed activity based on the time period, or if you'd rather have an amount of vehicles that were sold.
I think we need to know the amount of vehicles were sold and then make a decision in line with the previous
Okay,
discussion.
so I'm going to change my recommendation just to move this to the next report and continue investigation.
So my question to legal counsel is, if we move it to the next report, then this dealership was closed and flagged initially because of the information received from the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and they were under investigation. Then we discovered this additional stuff, and we don't know the number.
So what you're asking is if we can renew their
Right.
license. So
I'm asking if we can actually open them back up and license the salespersons that they have sent us and then have them pay whatever penalty the commission decides upon.
I believe that would be the appropriate next step, is to renew their license a salesperson, and then have the commission determine what the appropriate fine would be, if that's what the commission feels as well, or if they would rather us express to this dealer that their license application is on hold until
Yeah,
you determine in
I don't
October.
think it would be, Taylor, I don't think it would be good to leave them shut down till the next quarterly meeting.
Okay, yeah, and so that's completely within the commission's discretion. If you think the next appropriate step would be to renew, license a salesperson, get that information, and then represent and come up with the appropriate civil penalty at that point.
Has this dealer ever been before the commission before?
They have one complaint that was closed in 2023 for $500, but they didn't, I don't believe that they came before you guys. Which, if that is something you also want to include in your vote, that is something that can be arranged as well. But if the commission is okay with it, I will just change my recommendation to move to the next report and investigate further into how many vehicles were sold during that time period.
Okay.
And then Denise,
Sounds good.
does that answer your question, or do you have any?
I think so. Isn't this one also the one that's also connected to 104?
Well, I don't believe that they're connected in the dealership sense. The owners are just related.
They're related,
They're
right.
just,
That's what I
the
meant.
owners are related to each other, yes.
I just want to remind the commission that this came to us initially from the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and there are criminal charges pending.
But we don't have any
We don't- I mean,
information
yeah.
on that, and it's not under our jurisdiction.
Let me ask you a question related to this. Is there anything we can do, any special meeting, do we need to do anything different related to this instead of waiting or deferring to you to come up with a proposed fine based on what you find out?
We can. It's completely within the commission's discretion. If you want to set another meeting to discuss this, if you want to go ahead and assess a civil penalty of what you think is appropriate, and then they can come back and say, we only sold 10 cars, and that can be represented to, it's completely within the commission's discretion. I'll say, based on the conversation we had with the dealership, we expressed to him that they would probably have a civil penalty from this meeting, but if the commission thinks it's more appropriate to wait until we have a total number of vehicles, I can be in contact with him.
Well, my concerns, I'm hearing a lot of undertone here, and I'm hearing 103 and 104. I mean, common sense says there's something going on here.
No, yeah,
doesn't
and I
pass
just want
the
to
sniff
clarify,
test.
the owners are just related to each
Yeah,
other. We don't
I
have
hear
any evidence that they're doing
Well,
together.
if we think we're okay, just to let the staff rule. and
But
make the
there,
fine, I'm fine with it.
yeah, and as Denise did discuss, there is a Tennessee Highway Patrol investigation also currently happening for matters that are outside of our jurisdiction. Once that case is completed, that is something that we can obviously provide the information to the commission at that point. It's still under investigation for violations that are outside of our jurisdiction.
So I'm mildly concerned. We've mentioned now, I think, maybe 4 times about the criminal investigation by Tennessee Highway Patrol. Are we in jeopardy of putting more people in harm's way by validating these folks, by letting a license move forward, or doing something here that hurts consumers?
I can't speak on what is going to become the outcome of that investigation because, again, they're in the investigation stage, so there hasn't been concluded findings at this point. I don't believe, Erica, you can speak differently, that we have jurisdiction to do anything based off of an investigation until there's actual findings out of that. But if the commission feels something is more appropriate, if you'd rather set, like you mentioned, a special meeting where once we have more information, we can deep dive into this one. Or I can try to call the dealer on this break in between this and the full meeting and see if he can provide me how many vehicles were sold, and we can discuss it at the full meeting. I don't know that they'll answer, but I can try to give them a call.
I think we need to let you, as the staff, assess it, put the fine on it. We can discuss it, what we want to do at the next quarterly meeting. I just hate to have a separate meeting, another called meeting. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Well, unless you find something that you didn't know. We don't know what we don't know. Until you do
Yes.
the investigation. So
Yeah.
if something pops up, I mean, we could do a Zoom
Yeah.
meeting or something if it's that bad, but I
Yeah.
agree.
What we know right now is they are under investigation by the Tennessee Highway Patrol for, I believe it's odometer tampering. That hasn't had a finding in it yet. They did have an active dealer's license. Since 2024, they have not had an active salesperson's license. We don't know how many vehicles were sold within that time frame. We did deny their renewal because they did not have an active salesperson. Then that's why we were initially closing flag. Last week, the dealer reached out to us, asked why their renewal was declined. We spoke to them, let them know they need to have a licensed salesperson. That's when they expressed that they were under the belief as an owner that he was allowed to sell vehicles. And we let them know we were going to present this to the commission, at which point they filed an application for a license to get a licensed salesperson in the dealership, which is on hold, and we let them know it would be on hold until the commission discussed.
And I will say,
complaint.
Commissioner Andrews, regarding your trepidation and concern, I'm always concerned when we see something from the Tennessee Highway Patrol, and this was for odometer tampering. I will say, we've now been in touch with this particular dealer/owner. I personally have multiple times emailing back and forth. So I think that they know that all eyes are on them. I think they're probably less likely to do something even more egregious, especially since they have this pending investigation.
I would agree with that. We have been in quite a bit of communication with them, and I'll say, I don't know if Denise feels differently, based on my conversations, I felt like they're wanting to comply. They know that this civil penalty is coming, and they were aware of that, and they knew that was going to be something they had to deal with at a certain point from the commission. But it's really within the commission's discretion if they think it would be appropriate to approve the license and then have it represented at the next meeting with detailed information on how many vehicles were sold by each person.
I think that's where we've gotten to 3 times now, so. I
Yeah.
think
That's good.
let's do
That's
that,
good with
and
me.
let's move
Yeah.
on.
So, okay.
Let's go with it.
I don't know if there's any more that the commission wants to speak on specifically, but I don't think council had any other ones that they particularly wanted to discuss.
So, Mr. Chair, what's your pleasure? In the full meeting?
So I guess now, entertain a motion.
I would say adopt as amended, and we can have legal quickly run through. We reduced number 34, I think, from 20,000 to 10,000. That was just a complete unlicensed person.
55. That's it.
55, my bad. And 72 to 10,000.
And then 103, as we discussed, is going to be to move to the next report and investigate further on how many vehicles were sold.
So someone would need to make a motion to adopt as amended.
And does recusing myself from number 64, does that need to go into the motion, or you're just saying it right
Just
now?
say that now.
Okay. I would like to recuse myself from number 64 due to firsthand knowledge.
Perfect. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to accept the legal report as amended.
Second.
Motion is to adopt the legal report as amended, made by Commissioner Levy and seconded by Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts? Votes aye. You have adopted the legal report as amended, and again, we will go over those two, 52 and 53, along with 107 in the full meeting. You need to ask for a motion to adjourn.
So, second.
Mr. Chairman, if you want, what time is it? If you want to. Okay.
All right, let's get started this morning. I'm calling the meeting to order. Let's first do a roll call.
Commissioner Andrews?
Here?
Commissioner Copenhaver? Commissioner Evans?
Here.
Commissioner Galvin?
Here.
Commissioner Kramer? Commissioner Levy?
Here.
Commissioner Morgan?
Here.
Commissioner Norton?
Here.
Commissioner Owens?
Here.
Commissioner Rydell?
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn? Commissioner Yarborough?
Here.
And Chairman Roberts.
Here.
I skipped Commissioner Copenhaver. I apologize. And he's here. Oh, I did? Okay. You have a quorum, Mr. Chair.
Good. First of all, let's meet our new commissioner, Terry Yarborough. He's from Middle Tennessee. He's up in Clarksville, actually, at the Nissan store there.
Correct.
Anything you want to say?
Glad to be here.
Good.
Been chosen to be this committee. I've been in the industry for 37 years, same family, different dealerships, but it's going to be a pleasure to serve.
Very good. All right. The notice of public comments to be held at the end of the meeting, so I guess we've registered everyone in. We've got that, Denise? Okay.
Yes, sir, at the back of the room.
Meeting notice was sent out, and I guess we need to adopt the agenda?
Yes, sir, I need to read the notice first.
Okay.
This meeting's date, time, and location have been noticed on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission website, included as part of this year's meeting calendar since December 3rd, 2024. Additionally, the agenda for this month's meeting has been posted on the Motor Vehicle Commission's website since April 16th, 2025, and this meeting has also been noticed on the tn.gov website.
Okay, we need to adopt the agenda now?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Vaughn, so moved.
Commissioner Norton, second.
Any further discussion on the agenda? Denise, will you call the roll?
I will. The motion is to adopt the agenda made by Commissioner Vaughn, seconded by Commissioner Norton. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Morgan?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
You have adopted the agenda.
Okay, we need to approve the minutes from the April 22nd quarterly meeting. What's your pleasure on the minutes?
Commissioner Norton, approve, please.
Second, Commissioner Galvin.
Any further discussion on the minutes? Will you call roll again, Denise?
The motion is to adopt the April minutes made by Commissioner Norton and seconded by Commissioner Galvin. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Morgan?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. You have adopted the minutes from the April meeting.
Okay, we've got salesperson dealer appeals. And Taylor, you want to? Okay, Sarah, okay.
The first appeal is for Christopher Bray.
Okay. Would you come up to the podium?
So the relevant conviction is possession of meth with intent. The latest date of release, probation, or parole is November 3rd of 2046. So the commission has discretion to deny until November 3rd of 2051.
Okay. All right. Would you like to address us at this time and tell us about where you've been and what you got into? And
Yes, sir. I was in Georgia and got caught with drugs in the vehicle with me.
okay.
That was in 2016.
Tell us more. Give us some more detail.
I got caught coming from Atlanta with drugs in the vehicle coming to Chattanooga in the Georgia town. Since then, I have been put on unsupervised probation as I've paid off all my fines and not been in no trouble since 2016.
Okay, you got questions from the commission?
Commissioner Vaughn, so you said that you haven't had any issues since then, and you did make restitution?
Yes, ma'am.
Was this just you were selling, or were you using?
I was using and selling.
So have you been in any kind of program to?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're required to do drug testing, I would assume?
I was until I was put on unsupervised. I had
Okay.
about 5 years of drug tests.
Okay, well, can you tell us a little bit about why you want to be in the car business and what your experience, like what you've been doing now?
I've been at the dealership for a good little while now, just in and out, I'm trying to better myself and my family.
So what are your job duties?
Right now, I'm on the floor kind of helping the salesman out, kind of directing traffic, as you will, with the salesman, with customers.
So how long have you been there?
I've been here 2 months, just about 2 months.
What did you do before that?
I was at another dealership in the parts department.
Okay.
Give us a little bit about the history of where you've been. You've just been with this new place 2 months. How long were you there at the previous job, and why did you leave?
The previous job, I was there almost 5 years. It was another ATV dealership as well, you know.
Why did you leave there after 5 years?
It's really kind of a money situation.
Just better yourself?
Yep, to better myself, yep. Yeah.
Did you bring anybody with you?
Yes, sir. I brought my manager with me.
Okay. State for the record your name and what your capacity is at the
Sure.
dealership.
Stephen Caldali, I'm the Director of Operations.
Okay. And you all are in Chattanooga?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Tell us about Mr. Bray.
Sure. So we hired Mr. Bray in to start with us in sales and found out, obviously, he couldn't get his license. So currently, we have him on the floor directing traffic to the correct salesperson. And from our experience, he's been great so far. And truthfully, I mean, I think he'll make a great salesperson.
Commissioner Vaughn, I've got a question. Did he tell you about this drug offense, or did you find out?
No, he was very open from the beginning.
Was that the first time, this is actually for you, was that the first time you had been arrested for, I guess, with the drugs
Yes,
and things
ma'am.
like that?
Any other questions for either one of them?
Well, I'm going to ask a question for the supervisor. I mean, do you have any concerns? Obviously, he's got a good track record, been 5 years doing a job for another company. I mean, if I hired him in my, I'd have some reservations maybe, but just natural. Do you have any things in place, drug testing, or do you have anything that
So-
you put in place to be guarded in this situation?
We do drug tests. Obviously, if something were to happen on the job, we also drug test. We would be willing to subject him to a quarterly drug test.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like he's had a pretty good track record since 2016, so I'd make a motion to grant him his license.
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll?
The motion is to grant licensure for Mr. Bray, made by Commissioner Norton and seconded by Commissioner Vaughn. Commissioner Levy
I'm going to abstain.
abstains. Commissioner Yarborough
Aye.
votes aye. Commissioner Rydell votes aye. Commissioner Morgan votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver votes aye. Commissioner Andrews
Aye.
votes aye. Commissioner Galvin
Aye.
votes aye. Commissioner Norton
Aye.
votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn
Aye.
votes aye. Commissioner Owens votes aye. Commissioner Kramer
Aye.
votes aye. Commissioner Evans
Aye.
votes aye. And Chairman Roberts
Aye.
votes aye. Mr. Bray, you will be granted your license, and we will email an electronic copy to the dealership today, and then your physical one will show up at the dealership in about 14 days.
Great.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. Good luck. Okay, next.
The next applicant is Christopher Britton. I think so. The relevant charge is second-degree murder. The latest date of release, probation, or parole is August 26th of 2020, and you have discretion to deny until August 26th of 2025.
Can you repeat that about the 2020? What did you say?
So his latest date of release, probation, or parole was August 26th of 2020, so you have discretion to deny until next month on the 26th.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Britton, would you like to address us and tell us about what went on and give us as much detail as you can so we can ask you questions at the end?
Yes, sir. Good morning. I just want to say good morning to everybody, and thank you for having me, taking the time out to meet with me this morning. Yes, so in 2002, I was charged with second-degree murder, and I was convicted in 2005, and I was sent to prison. I completed all of my time. I came home in 2017 of November. I was released into a federal halfway house. I completed 6 months. I was granted 3 years of supervised release. I completed it in 18 months. I was granted that early release by the judge. She granted that to me. Since then, while I was on supervised release, I completed all of my drug tests. I had no run-ins with the law. And since my release of 2017 up until now, I haven't had any criminal convictions or any minor convictions running in with the law. I've been working every day since I was released in 2017. I started out working at Express Oil Change in Nolensville, Nashville, as a hood tech. I did well. I was promoted to one of the newest stores that that Mr. Warren was opening in Hendersonville. I was promoted as assistant manager. I worked there for like 2 years. I wanted to earn a little bit more money, so I went into driving. I went to a CDL school, and I got my Class A CDLs. At that point, I started working for a lot of the dump truck companies here in the Middle Tennessee area, Hoover Construction, Jones Brothers, Harper and Construction, and I enjoyed driving. I also worked for logistics, a refrigerant company. So again, I enjoy driving. I've driven for 7 years. I ended up moving out of the state of Tennessee maybe a few years after I was released. I moved to Florida, still working. I went to Florida and I got jobs. I worked for Dex and Dock, which is a lumber company. I also worked for another family called All American Trailers, where I traveled up and down South Florida delivering big heavy-duty trailers. Also, that business right there had salespeople at the dealership. They were selling trailers. I wasn't a salesperson, but I was familiar with all of the products. So when the salespeople wasn't available, I would help customers that would come into the store. And at that point, that was the catalyst to my interest in wanting to be a salesperson. People would come in needing parts for their trailers. I would assist them. I would help guide them to the part that they needed, and then I would advise them which salesperson they would use. At that point, in my mind, I'm always trying to grow. I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to be better. I'm always trying to earn more so that I can take care of me and my family. Sales is one of those industries where that could happen. So with all of my peers and friends watching me work, people would always encourage me that maybe I should get into sales. So I did that. I started applying for a sales position at dealerships while I was living in Florida. I had my own residence. While I was living there, I worked and got my own place. I landed a job, excuse me, I landed a job with Auto Nation and Chevrolet in Green Acres. Obviously, when you go into these dealerships, you have to apply through their system, and they do background screening. So I have already been screened for that job as well. It was postponed a couple of times because they wanted to kind of really investigate and see what my past had been like. So they hired me. I worked there for close to a year. I needed to move back home. Unfortunately, my father lost his wife at the late of last year. He's an elderly man. He can't do the things that he used to do, especially with Miss Joanne gone. So I came back. I moved in with him. Again, I was still interested in sales, so I went to I went on Indeed and was applying. Kia reached out to me. Nissan reached out to me, and I followed up. I went into Nissan, and the first day I walked in, I was completely honest with them. I told them the dilemmas that I go through when I go apply for jobs, that, you know, the companies are always screening my background, and my charges, they do always come up. I can't hide that. I don't try to hide that. I try to be very upfront about it. That's not who I am. I'm not Chris Britton, who was Chris Britton 2002 or 23 years ago. I'm not that man. I have a grown daughter, 23. I'm 43 years old now. I enjoy working. I enjoy working in these dealerships. I enjoy helping people when they come in and they need cars for their families or for their daughters or sons who's going off to college. I enjoy building that quick connection with them to make sure they get the perfect vehicle that they want and leave out with a peerless experience. I enjoy that. I enjoy just customer service in general.
All I can say is you've been busy.
Yes, sir.
And anyway, commissioners, y'all have any questions for him? He's given you a lot of things to ask about.
Commissioner Vaughn, first, I've got a question for you about your application where you marked no in 2 separate places that said you were not convicted of a crime. Can you tell me why you marked no there when you had been?
Yes, ma'am. Well, the salesperson that was guiding me through that process advised me to do so. We had constantly kept pressing yes, 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 and it wouldn't go through the next page. Of course, I've already explained to him that I have a background and these are my charges, but it wouldn't go through. So the salesperson at that point had advised me to go ahead and press no. I kind of second-guessed on it. I didn't have any other manager or any supervisor to kind of go and ask if this would be the correct thing to do. So I kind of feel as though it wasn't really right, but at the time, it was only me and the salesperson. There was no one above him that could really advise me on what to do. And I kind of wanted to get in there because I done already told them my whole background and my whole history. I apologize for that, but that was the reason why that happened.
Did you contact anybody at the Motor Vehicle Commission to let them know that you couldn't accurately fill this out?
At the motor vehicle company?
Anybody here
Here,
at the commission?
that's what this is.
I don't think that I spoke to the commission at all. Only time that I spoke to the commission was that when I had filled out the application, I think I had been communicating, waiting on a response. So I was in response to, I think, a Mr. Xavier or something, and he had informed me that the application was denied, and the reason was because there was no's in places where there should have been yeses, and where there would have been yeses, there would have been documents that I would have needed to upload, which I didn't have at the time. So he advised me to go to the county clerk office in Wilson County to get those documents, and I did, and I got back in communication with Mr. Xavier. I uploaded those documents where I had submitted no.
Well, they still would have denied you even if you had put yes because of the fact that of the statute or the limitations that we have here. Like you have to come to us if you're still, like it says 2025, like till that date. They could approve it then, but until then you have to come to us to tell us why we should give you your license. So my question for you is, still about filling it out incorrectly. I feel like you should have notified somebody that you couldn't put the word yes in there. I've never heard that before at this commission.
Yeah, so, well, you could put the word no. I put no in there. I couldn't, it wouldn't move forward when I was saying yes. And me and the salesperson didn't understand why.
Yeah, this is the first time I've ever heard that, and I've been on this commission for, I think, 15 years. So I've never heard that before. So that's a concern for me.
Basically, what I think happened when you put yes, they want you to upload documents, ma'am. And I didn't have any documents available when I started thinking back to it. If you put yes, and it would probably say, well, upload documents. We didn't really come to that clear understanding at that point in time, but I thought about it later. That had to be the only reason why it wouldn't move on to the next page. So when we hit no, it automatically went through. And no, ma'am, I did not contact the commission.
So it would have worked. It's just the fact that you didn't have the documents.
It would have worked if I didn't have the documents. Yes, ma'am. If I'd have had yes, and then if the documents would have been what it was needed to move forward, then yes. I'm just under the assumption that I didn't have the documents. When you press yes, they want you to add, okay, well, what is your conviction? Upload these documents. I recall that being somewhere when I spoke with Mr. Xavier afterwards.
Commissioner Evans, sorry, go ahead. Commissioner Evans for the staff, is that how it works? Do you have to, if you click yes, do you then have to upload documents to then move forward in the application?
If you affirm that you have a felony conviction or plead nolo contendere, then yes. What will happen is you will choose yes on your application, and it will take you to another page that requires you to upload final judgments of your conviction. And if you don't upload those documents or a document in that space, then it will not let you move forward in the application.
Thank you. I'll have a question for his sponsor later related to this, but I'll step back for now.
Okay. Anyone else?
Actually, I've got one more question. Have you had any sort of legal issues since you've been out of jail?
No, ma'am. Again, as I explained, since I was released in November 2017, I haven't had any legal issues. The only infractions I may have had was 2 speeding tickets.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Who'd you bring with you?
My GM, Mr. Justin.
Yes, will
Justin
you
Andrelson.
introduce yourself and tell us what role you play at the Rivergate?
My name is Justin Andrelson. I'm the general manager at Nissan Rivergate. I'm actually the person that hired Mr. Chris Britton. I was sitting in the sales tower when he came in. He said he was there for an interview, so I let him speak, and he spoke quite well. During the training process, he was...
Come a little closer to the mic.
During the training process, when we brought everybody in, he stayed after. I mean, we stayed open and close. He learned every single product out there faster than anyone in the class. So his work ethic is stronger than anyone probably in the dealership. Of course, since the denial of the salesman license, we didn't have anything for him to do, so he hasn't been at the dealership, but he's been quite eager to come back.
Commissioner Vaughn, I've got a question. Did he tell you about his conviction?
He did, and I told him that as long as he gets his salesman license, then we would hire him.
Okay.
Commissioner Evans, like to hear your insight about the approach to completing the application falsely.
I don't like...
Not intentioned, but ultimately it was a false application.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that based on the standard that you hold all of your employees at your dealership, that you hold yourself to?
Yeah. I don't feel great about that at all. I do know the particular salesperson that was helping him out. He's a good salesperson. He's a good guy. Sometimes he's a little bit of a airhead, if you would say. So I can clearly see him telling him to push forward. I've seen the application before, and I've been asked about that before. It's not very clear when you press no that it says upload documents. Someone has to know about it to tell them to upload the documents to move forward. So at the time, the managers were in a managers meeting. There was one manager in the sales tower. He was working deals, which, as I told Chris, he should have just waited and actually asked somebody other than a salesperson that hasn't really been at the store all too long, that's filled one application out himself, so then than to just move forward and take his advice. But again, as soon as we figured out what was going on, we did release him. I also told other salespeople to not help other salespeople fill out their applications if they had any questions, to make sure that these new salespeople came to us and made sure they ask us the questions, or more of the managers the questions.
Commissioner Norton, as a dealer, and that application, and the integrity of that application is what brings this gentleman here to ask for a salesman's license. It was clear, it was a yes or no question, and he answered no. And I understand, I fill out applications, I get stuck, but I mean, I just have a hard time believing he couldn't go get some help. And if his integrity is based on a question of yes or no, and he just uses the excuse that he didn't know what else to do, so he answered no. I struggle with that. I guess because it seems like he's done a great job for where he's come from. He's come a long way. He's had a long path to get where he is today. To have that one thing be an issue, but I mean, I've been on this commission for over 10 years, and that's an integrity thing. When you come here and if you don't answer that correctly, it's an issue with us. That's because that's clearly a question being asked, yes or no. And if it's not answered, then you just don't move on or overlook that. And we take that very seriously here.
I do understand that, and I do believe it was not intentional in the way that to his integrity. I don't believe it was intentional. I believe that he took advice from someone that was sitting next to him, and he should have went to speak with his supervisor or manager. But at that point in time, we found out about it. We asked him about it, and found the whole story. And then he started submitting documentation over to you guys. He was upfront with me right off the bat, so I don't see any reason why he wouldn't have been upfront on the application if there wasn't an issue of him moving forward. I don't think they didn't understand why it wouldn't move forward. This is what it was.
Had he told you about the conviction prior to submitting the salesperson's application?
Yes, because at the time of hire, I said, we'll give you a chance, but you're gonna have to, as long as you can get your sales license.
So when did you find out about the error that had happened on the application?
I
When it
found
was
out
denied? Or before that?
Yes, when it was denied.
Okay. And then what was your inquiry to him to find out how everything happened the way it happened?
So why'd you press no?
Okay.
I mean, that's all it was, and he told me. And as I said, the salesperson that helped him, I could clearly see him saying that. But
Did you talk to the salesperson that helped him? And
spoke to all the salesperson.
And what did the salesperson who helped him, what did he have to say for himself?
He said he couldn't figure out why I wouldn't go forward, so he said tell him to click no. Very, very, just not paying attention. I mean.
So you confirmed his story with the salesperson?
Yes, I did.
Commissioner Evans, for the staff, so can deny, walk me through the 8/26/2025 date, because what I'm trying to get at is, can you just repeat that piece?
So based on the documentation that I was provided, I calculated that his latest date of release, probation or parole, was August 26, 2020. I'm not sure if he submitted documentation that he would let off probation or supervised release early, so that is why it's up to 2020. You guys, based on the documentation he provided, you have discretion to deny until August 26, 2025, which is 5 years from the date based on the documentation I was provided.
Okay, so if he is denied today, can he reapply in a month? Is that how it works?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Norton, do we have an updated, correct application now where it's checked yes? Well, I mean, we certainly have to have that. We have to have an updated application.
He's appealing the denial of the incorrect application, so it's unlikely that we would have an application that's incorrect.
And does the staff feel it's valuable to have a for real correct application rather than to approve the appeal of an admittedly incorrect application? So, I mean, I guess I'd make the comment that we'd certainly need to have the correct paperwork. Now, in terms of having a lot of value, in terms of adding a month to this, I mean, given the time we've already spent today, and I believe you're taking this seriously, I'm not sure how we move forward as a commission other than say, because it sounds like if you fill out a correct application, we could approve that.
So you can ask that he provide another application with the correct information, but still also approve approve the licensure for today.
Then we could vote on it either the next meeting.
You can include it in your vote in this meeting. You can vote to, someone submit a motion and vote to require him to submit a new application and have that application approved once submitted if you feel it's appropriate within the discretion currently.
I mean, considering we only have a month, really, of any authority to deny it, I think I like where Commissioner Andrews is going. So what I think we could do is, someone could make a motion to approve the license on the condition that a corrected application is submitted to the commission.
Yeah, that would be.
Do we want to put a timeline on that, though? Because, again, to your point, I mean, an affirmative vote on this is a reflection on us as well, just as it is on you and your dealership and the individual, right? So to your point about an application that is correct and that is submitted on the record as having yeses next to the felony convictions or the crimes, us saying we're going to grant this license when it has false information is a reflection upon us. So, if we're going to proceed in this manner, we need to make sure that, I don't know if it's within the next 24 hours, 48 hours, next week, but.
Well, I don't think we need to put a timeline on it, because if he wants a license, he has to submit a corrected application. So nothing happens until he submits a corrected
Okay.
application.
Subject
When he
to
does,
them correcting the
then it's
paperwork.
approved.
Got it, okay.
But I agree, nothing happens until the corrected application is submitted.
Commissioner Gallen, this whole thing, this is my take, is that he filled out the application with the salesperson. The salesperson said, just put no. He knew it was wrong, so he went to his boss and said, hey, I made a mistake. It was an oversight. So everybody thinks it's an oversight. So he brings the application to us, we look at it. If you would've came and said, hey, at the very beginning, there was an oversight in my application, we're the ones that found the oversight. And if you were honest with us, saying that you said no on the application instead of it was an oversight with the dealer, things would have been a little bit different. That's the way I feel about it.
I mean, I can't disagree with that, but like Commissioner Levy said, we only have one more month of oversight on this, and I think it's a foregone conclusion he's going to get his license. But I think we made our statement very clear. My issue is not only this, but we operate in a world of a lot of boxes, a lot of online applications. My caution would be, as the general manager, that it's not okay to just go forward. The integrity of our business is based on those yes or no questions, and I'm talking about they don't stop on this application. They're on many applications, credit applications, contracts, the trust of those decisions to make the right decision. And if you don't know, stop, ask a question. You obviously worked very hard to get where you have today, and I commend you for that and doing the right things. Okay, but I think this needs to be a lesson that you just don't check a box, go forward if you don't know the right answer. Integrity of that, this application is everything to us. And we sign off on it, it's us. We put a lot of time in here as dealers to make sure we get things right to protect the consumers, empower the community. So I think we made our point, but past that, I think we granted his license.
And just to address your concern, Commissioner, you can be clear in your motion that you are approving a resubmitted application for this salesperson's license, not the application that's currently on the table. And then nothing will move forward on the program side until they resubmit the corrected application with the corrected information.
And I guess a follow-up question for y'all, both as individuals and as a dealership organization. Does this help maybe improve practices going forward in terms of the seriousness of the salesperson and the dealership licensing?
100%. If at the time, if he would have came into the sales tower and asked one of the managers, we would have told him what to do. But this has helped. We had a meeting and told no salesperson needs to help another salesperson fill out their application. Period. Everyone there is capable of filling their own out. If they do run into a problem, then they need to come to someone that can actually truly help them. Because I've seen this once before to where they couldn't move forward, and because they had to upload documents, and I would know the answer to that question. My sales managers know the answer to that question. The salesperson, again, has only filled out one particular application, probably for himself, does not know the answer to that question unless he had to do it himself.
So I'm glad the management team's clear on that. Do you think you might want to add that to your onboarding process so that the team knows as well?
Yes, we're actually changing our onboarding process right now to make sure that someone that knows what they're talking about sits with the salesperson as they fill it out. Also to confirm that they've actually done it, because now that the dealer doesn't have control over doing the licensing, and we're not getting the actual we're not getting some of the renewals, we're not getting notified that we can keep up with it a little bit more. So we have a spread list now, and we're making sure that they're actually doing it. Because what we had before is we thought they would do it, and find out that we haven't got their license in 2 to 3 weeks, and hey, what happened? Because you can go to a certain point and print out a piece of paper where it looks like you did it, but sometimes they didn't have the $35 or something like that. So since then, we're sitting with the salespeople to start. Someone is sitting with the salespeople to make sure the licensing is done. Since it's out of our hands now, it's in the salesperson's hands. You can't always trust individuals, unfortunately. So.
Well, I think improving the process like you described will save all of us, including your team members, a lot of time.
Yeah.
And I apologize, Commissioner, could I ask you to clarify? I may have misheard you. Did you say that the renewals do not come to the dealership, they come directly to the salesperson?
From what I've been told, from upstairs, yes, we've had the renewals go to the salespeople.
Okay, that's not accurate.
Okay.
The renewals should go directly to the dealership, because you cannot be a licensed salesperson unless you are actively related, if you will, licensed to a specific dealership.
Okay.
So all of the renewals should come either via email or a letter as well, and that should come directly to the dealership.
Are they coming both, or?
If we have an email address on account, but
Renewal notices are generally sent out about a month and a half prior to an expiration of a license. So it's going to go to the last mailing address of the dealer that is on file. So if you're not getting them, or they're kind of passing through the mail somehow, you may want to contact staff and check and make sure that the address that we have on file for you is correct.
Okay.
The mailing address that we have. Okay?
and I'll just add as well. I asked Jason to pull up one of our applications that are online, and it's, everything's electronic, because I wanted to be sure that it was clear. And, I mean, it's like the first question. If you answer yes, you're given a new screen that says, if you've been convicted, blah, 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 you have to attach a complete list of all final judgments. So, obviously, if he'd answered yes, he got this screen, then that's your cue to, okay, I need to get copies of all these documents so that I can provide it. And I'm not trying to be punitive or anything. I worry when I hear people say things that I couldn't move forward. I want to make sure that nothing's wrong with the online system.
Just curious, is it a pop-up?
So, sorry, let me clarify on this one. The, what she just read, the notice that she read about the final judgments being required, the screen for attachments, that is literally in a box at the top of that screen. So you don't even if you answered no or yes, that's going to be shown on that screen when you go to those attachments. And it says on that application, final judgment required, eligibility form required. So it's just right there up in that little box. So.
To be honest.
In the interest of time, I apologize. If, I don't want to drag this out any further. I think the commission has made a recommendation about how they want to proceed. And if y'all want to hang out until the meeting is over, we'll look at it with you. So no mistakes will be made going forward.
Well, we'll make sure there's no mistakes made going forward.
Okay.
But and we also don't deal with this, every single day. I've been doing this since 2008, been a manager since 2010. There's been, I think, 3 times where, that we hired someone with some kind of conviction that we had to, put on the application. And before it was paper, it was a little bit different. And on 2 of those was paper. I think this is first or second one that's been electronic. So again, we can guarantee that there won't be this issue again.
Well, it sounds like we've got 2 routes we could go here. And of course, I'll leave it up to the commission to decide. We could vote it down, and could they come back at a later date and reapply?
Well, we'll have discretion until next month, so
To the next quarterly meeting?
well, it would be approved.
So you guys only have discretion to deny until August 26th, so next month. So after that, he could reapply and it would be approved if
Okay.
everything is correct.
So he
on the
could
application.
reapply, and we could grant it later. Or we could grant it today with, subject to the application being filled back out correctly.
Right.
So I think that's the 2 things we can choose from today.
We have no say-so after August 26th, right? That's correct. It's after August 26th if you need it.
Is that assuming he fills it out correctly? Or if he puts no again on the application, do you
Okay,
deny it?
that's good to know.
Because, to me, it's, 36 days, and then he can apply and get his license without us voting on that part. I'm concerned with saying yes, when my first question was about why did you put no? And his first answer was it wouldn't move forward. And then it turns out, well, it wouldn't move forward because he didn't do what he was supposed to. So I have an issue with that personally, of voting.
I share that. And I think we should just let him apply on his own when he can in what, August 26th? Is that what you said? Yeah,
August 26th of 2025, so next month.
but y'all can make a motion any way you want, we'll have a vote. So just let's go ahead and move on.
I was wondering what that 2000, that August date is?
August 26th.
It's attached to an expiration from what?
So the latest, based on the paperwork you provided, your latest date of release, parole, or probation was August 20th of 2020. So the commission has discretion to deny at least 5 years after that.
Okay.
So that's why it's August 26th of 2025.
Thank you.
What's your pleasure, Commission?
I'm going to make a motion to grant him his license, subject to him completing a correct application and uploading the required documents.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the vote?
The motion is to approve the licensure conditioned on submission of an accurate application with all pertinent documents attached. Made by Commissioner Norton, seconded by Commissioner Andrews. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Morgan? Votes aye, Commissioner Copenhaver. Votes aye, Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Yarborough.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Galvin.
No.
Votes no, Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Vaughn.
No.
Votes no, Commissioner Owens.
No.
Votes no, Commissioner Kramer. Votes aye, Commissioner Evans.
No.
Votes no, Chairman Roberts.
No.
Votes no. The vote's 8-5. What does that mean? The vote's 8-5. It carries, right?
Okay.
Licensure is granted. The vote is
It
8
is?
ayes, 5 nays. So licensure will be granted conditioned on submission of those documents and an accurate application.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, next.
The next applicant is Cameron Thomas. His relevant charge is aggravated assault. His latest date of release, probation or parole is January 16th of 2025. So the commission has discretion to deny until January 16th of 2030.
Okay, Mr. Thomas, tell us about yourself, what your position is at Kia Store, and talk about your convictions.
Yeah, my name's Cameron Thomas, from Knoxville, Tennessee. I up here represent myself. My GM didn't want to come represent me. I don't really know why. I recently just left Parkside Kia and got hired at a new car lot, so I kind of didn't know how that would affect anything. But I when it comes to my charge, it happened in 2018. I was just hanging around the wrong crowd of people, and I take all accountability on that. It taught me a lot with everything that I've been through. I ended up getting custody of my kids, and I actually got certified as an HVAC technician, and that's when I found my niche in sales, because I was doing HVAC work and I was selling HVAC systems. And whenever I got in that, I ended up going to working for a construction company. I've been in the construction field for probably about like 6 years. Whenever I was in the construction field, the guy that was my manager there at Yankee Southern, his name was Mark, he ended up having to abandon the ship, basically like shut down the business because it wasn't bringing in enough revenue. But before he had started that business, he was a car salesman. And he seen my ambitions, he seen my drive, and he was just curious on like if I wanted to get into it. And so he had recommended me at some different car lots, Parkside Kia, Honda, Hyundai, and many other dealerships. And so I took the initiative to go in and, like put in an application. I told them my background. And whenever I told them my background, they ended up giving me the job. I did not know that I had to apply for anything like to get a license for it. It was all brand new to me. So at that point, whenever I was given that I had to have a sales license, the whole time that I was working at Kia, RJ said that he would come with me. But literally like, I want to say like 4 days ago, he just told me out the blue that he wasn't coming. So I've been telling myself this whole time that, I'm going to take the initiative to come up by myself because I worked so hard to get to where I'm at that it would just kind of be a shame within up on myself to not show up. So here I am today to just kind of like try to plead my case to try to get my license.
Mr. Thomas, did I hear you say that you're not with Parkside Kia?
Yes, sir.
So you're here showing that you're employed by them and asking for a license, but you're really not?
Well, it's not that like, cause this literally just happened like 4 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, like this literally just happened. RJ told me that he would support me by any means, but he just didn't come up to this hearing with me. And so like, it just kind of left me hanging dry, and like, I got a family to support, so I'm just trying to do right and just support myself, I guess.
So you're not employed by Parkside Kia? Did you quit?
No, well, yeah, like he didn't didn't quit. He kind of just let me go. Like,
Okay,
I don't
'cause
know.
we can't quite approve a license when you're not working at that dealership. So if you came in and you'd applied somewhere else and you want a license for that store, then that'd be a whole different thing. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean,
Cause yeah, I'm at a whole nother car lot. It's called Hopper's Auto Sale. But I don't.
I'm sorry, you said the Harper's Auto Sales?
Hoppers,
Hoppers.
yes, Hopper, HOPPER, Auto Sales. It's off of 1818 Middlebrook Pike.
So question for the staff, can we even approve an appeal for a license application for a dealer he doesn't work at anymore? I think he has to start over with the current dealership, correct?
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything we can vote on or approve or disapprove. It's a non-issue, the way I see it, or staff, is that correct?
I mean, I don't mind to fill out the application all over again. I got, my mom, she sent me expungement papers, because I've been going through expungement since, I want to say like 2019, 2020. So I got like pictures of expungement papers that I can attach, but I mean, I don't mind to reapply. It's just the guy at Hopper, he's not here with me. Like I said, I came all the way from Knoxville here by myself just to.
Well, I think we appreciate your ability to introduce yourself to us, because I think we'll go through this exact same process once you submit a corrected application for the correct dealership that you work at and submit the right paperwork. Presumably, the application will be denied because of the prior conviction. You'll appeal it, and you'll come right back before this board. And I think it's very helpful that we've met you and we've heard your story, and the next time we see you, you'll be with the correct dealership, and hopefully you'll bring someone from that dealership who can speak to it.
Yes,
But
sir.
for right now, we can't approve an appeal, we can't approve a license, because you're not connected to the dealership attached to this application.
Man, I asked the question on with me trying to reapply for it, like how long will it take? Because I waited, I had this one applied back in April. So like if it's another 3 months, I don't mind to grind it out.
I mean, the application happens pretty quickly in terms of denial, and when the next time this commission meets is in October.
October.
October will be our next meeting that we can then evaluate the appeal at that point.
Okay, thank you.
Would it be correct to make the observation that you might want to talk to whatever dealership you're at through this process to make sure they're willing to come with you? Because, I mean, if you know you're going to go through this, you're going to want to disclose that to your manager, and they're going to need to be willing to come along with you, because coming solo is probably a tougher path to success.
It is for sure. The manager at at Harper's Auto that I'm at now, his name's Chili. He said that he would come. It's just that he couldn't today because it was just such a late notice. Like I just started working there Monday. I just started literally Monday. Monday was my first day, but in the interview process that happened on Saturday, and he said he doesn't mind coming up here. He's been up here before. Sorry, at my alarm clock. But he's been up here before, but it was just such a late notice. And so, he told me to just come up here myself anyways. And so that's what I did, and I just came on here.
Well, and I would just echo what the commissioners have stated, that you would just need to reapply at the existing dealership for which you work. Please be sure not to act in any capacity as a salesperson until you actually do have a salesman's license.
Correct.
But yes, I think the commission is right. There's nothing they can do today. You'll have to just reapply with making sure that it's the current dealership you work for.
Then we'd have to see him in October.
That's correct.
Is there how could I get the application to fill out? Because I could go ahead and fill that out today and then just wait till October or whatever. I got everything that I need. All my ducks are in a row. It'll probably take me like 5-10 minutes to fill out everything, submit the paperwork, and then.
You have all the paperwork with you, either electronically or physically, the physical paperwork. Jason, we'll ask a staff
Okay.
member to come down and have you, help you fill it out.
Sorry, we couldn't do more today, but we
It's
had to
fine.
follow the process.
It's fine. I kind of like experienced. I mean, kind of figured that. I mean,
Sure.
But you know, like it ain't nothing worth but trying. You know what I'm saying? So I just came up here to, like I said, show my face and just try.
Well, you did the right thing, but what I like about it, if someone from that dealer does not come represent you, you did the right move of getting out of there and going somewhere else. So I'm proud of you on that.
Thank you.
All right, well, thank you, and they'll take care of your
All right.
application.
Thank you. You
okay?
guys have a nice day.
Next.
The next applicant is Aladdin Rahman. I apologize if I didn't pronounce that right. The relevant conviction is aggravated assault. The latest date of release, probation, or parole is August 11th of 2023. So the commission has discretion to deny until August 11th of 2028.
Is he here?
Is Mr. Rahman here? Okay.
I don't think so. Okay, we'll go to the next one. We don't have to vote on it
No.
regardless. It just goes away until he reapplies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next applicant is Stephen Pace. So his relevant conviction is for wanton endangerment, 2 counts. So for the first count, you have discretion to deny until May 20 of 2031. And then for the other count, you have discretion to deny until May 20 of 2032.
Okay, Mr. Pace, is he here?
Yes, sir.
Come on up to the podium. Pull the mic down so we can hear you. Make sure it's on.
It's on, I believe so.
Okay. Tell us about your situation.
Yeah, no problem.
Give us some good background so we can ask good questions.
Okay, so I joined the military when I was 18 years old. That was my first real job. Went to Afghanistan a year later, got back, started drinking a lot. Pretty common thing. Turned into drugs, got out of the military honorably. Went back to Clarksville where my dad was living. Started college, hanging out with the wrong crowd, still doing drugs and drinking, and started getting in trouble. That lasted for a few years. Ended up even becoming homeless at one time for about 6 months. Had my first child. It just got to the point, I could see like the next place from there was prison or dying. So I got tired of that, decided to straighten up, and did good for a little while. My dad passed away. I used that as a crutch and started using again and got in more trouble. I was on probation in Paris, Tennessee. I went to Murray, Kentucky, kind of running. The cops got behind me. I was coming back from Paris Landing. I took off, tried to get away from them. Obviously, I got caught. It's inevitable. And they asked me, hey, why'd you take off? We were just gonna give you a ticket. And I was just, I was scared. Didn't want to go to jail. I had a warrant, so they gave me 6 years. I guess one of the police officers got into they hit a deer and wrecked a patrol car on their way to respond to the call. So they gave me one endangerment charge for that. My cousin was in the car with me. They gave me another one for that. I did write an apology, and apologize in person to the involved officers and to the court. I do feel bad for that. There's nothing I can do about it. I worked at the car dealership when I got out of jail. Got a job as a technician. Did that for 2 years. I liked it. I liked the environment, being around there, and it was hot. I was working a lot of overtime. I seen the salesman, walking around and the AC, dressed nice, and I was like, man, I need to do some of that. They're making twice what I am, and they're not really doing nothing. That's what it looked like. So I actually ended up getting up there up front, becoming a salesman. I got my sales license in Kentucky. I was actually finished second place, top selling salesman my first year. Sold about 145 cars. They ended up reducing our pay, raising the dock fee. I kind of got upset about that, so I was like, I'm leaving. I'm going to find another job. Found a good opportunity, Union City at the I-69 Motorsports. I was very upfront with my charges and stuff like that. I've applied for my sales license. It got denied, so I did, I sent all the paperwork for these charges. I'm supposed to get off probation in December. They are working on an early release right now. It's supposed to be next month, but yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm just looking for an opportunity. I mean, me and my fiance, we bought a house this year, and we got 4 kids, and everything's going well. I'm just trying to make it.
Let me ask you one thing. I think I heard you say, did you say the state trooper charged you because he hit a deer
Yes, sir.
on the way for getting a hold of you, for chasing you? He hit a deer, and that's your fault?
Well, what can I do? You know, they're gonna take their word over
I mean, you
mine.
may have saved his life from getting hit by a Mack truck on another road.
Yeah. Well,
So I don't get that.
life's not always fair, man. I've always been judged for things. I just take it with a grain of salt.
Well, we can't change those charges, but I just had to comment on, I've never heard of such.
I understand. I was pretty upset about it myself, but what can you do, you know?
All right. Questions?
Commissioner Vaughn, I've got a couple of questions. Have you been in any trouble since all of this?
No, ma'am.
Did you have to make any sort of restitution?
No, ma'am.
Do you have to do any kind of court-required AA or anything like
I
that?
did. They put. I had a 9-month-long intensive outpatient rehabilitation program, which I completed. Obviously, no issues or anything like that. No tickets, no anything like that. You know, jail sucks pretty bad, and I don't plan on going back. So.
Okay. Did you bring somebody with you?
Yeah, I'm my sales manager.
Okay. Let's hear from him. Tell us your name and what position you have at the.
Yes, my name is Dylan Gordon, and I'm our sales manager at Interstate 69 Motorsports.
Okay. Tell us about Mr. Pace.
So Mr. Pace, he came in for his interview, and the one thing that caught my eye is that it didn't matter if it was a customer on the showroom floor, an employee, or somebody that was just picking up our trash through the county. He didn't mind talking to anybody, and that's the one thing is he was very outgoing, always kept a smile on his face. Since he's been there, I haven't seen him be ill-willed towards anything or anybody. I've seen him go out of his way to try to help out anybody that he can. If it's the runners with moving the machines, or somebody in wash bay, or even one of his colleagues up there on the showroom floor saying, hey, I'll go turn in your paperwork since his salesman license has been denied. Just trying to take the steps to learn the processes as well.
Okay. Commissioners, anybody else with a question for either one?
I have a question, Commissioner Norton, to the salesperson. Are you currently in any program for like self-help, like AA or anything like that now?
No, sir.
And the reason I ask is you've made a couple comments today that concern me a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
Well, I mean, just life questions, life statements, you know, because life's hard. Things are going to come at you, and there's going to be other issues. There's going to be, you know, a lot of issues. And the reason I ask that question is you're going to need that someday because that doesn't go away. You know, you're going to have an issue instead of resorting back to old habits. I'll lean on that, you know.
Yes, sir. And I understand your concern. And I thought that was, you know, like I said, I used that as a crutch and jump back into that old stuff. But I have realized, finally, it took a few times, but that's not the answer, and it doesn't help at all. It actually just made me more miserable, and I don't deal with stuff like that anymore. So I have a good support system. We got a family. You know what I mean? I completely cut ties with anybody that even does anything remotely related to that. So I truly don't believe I have to worry about that any longer.
Mr. Pace, I want to tell you, being from the military town, we appreciate your service.
I do appreciate that.
And I think it's commendable that you're turning your life around and going in the right direction.
I do appreciate that. It's hard to see sometimes because there's a lot of people out there that say these things just to get what they need. So I do get it. But some people mean it. So,
Commissioner Vaughn, I make a motion, we approve the license.
Commissioner Yarborough, I second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the vote?
The motion is to grant licensure for Mr. Pace, made by Commissioner Vaughn, and seconded by Commissioner Yarborough. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Morgan? Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver? Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin? Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans?
Aye.
Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. You will be granted, you'll receive your license electronically. We'll send it directly to the dealership, and then you'll get the printed copy in about 14 days. Congratulations.
I do appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, guys.
thank you, good luck.
Y'all have a good one. Thank you.
Okay.
On this one?
All right. Executive
Chairman, can we
Director
go back for
Lawrence?
just a minute?
Okay.
I'm told that, I know that Mr. Rahman was a no-show, but I'm told that we need to vote to uphold that denial since he is not here.
Commissioner Vaughn, make a motion that we uphold the denial.
Commissioner Norton, second.
Any further discussion? Will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Levy?
Do I need, what's the motion?
The motion is to uphold the denial.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Yarborough.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Rydell. Votes aye, Commissioner Morgan. Votes aye, Commissioner Copenhaver. Votes aye, Commissioner Andrews.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Galvin.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Norton.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Vaughn.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Owens. Votes aye, Commissioner Kramer.
Aye.
Votes aye, Commissioner Evans. Votes aye, and Chairman Roberts.
Aye.
You have voted to uphold the denial of Mr. Rahman's licensure.
Okay, Executive Director Lawrence, will you give your report, please, ma'am?
I'm going to give a really quick, brief report. I think if you'll look at the active licenses on the first page, those are holding really very steady. I'm encouraged by the number of licensed representatives we have. I wish that our fee increases had already gone into effect, but they haven't. So we do have quite a few that haven't actually renewed yet, and that means that they'll be charged a late fee. Our fee increase rules, everyone will be thrilled to know, as I am, that they become effective on September 15th, 2025. Chairman Roberts and I will appear before the Joint Government Operations Committee on August the 20th in the afternoon to answer any questions that they may have. I'm hopeful that they won't have a lot of questions. Hopefully we're on the backside of our comptroller's audit. We thought that it would be completed by June 30th. We actually have an update meeting tomorrow, so I hope that we're going to be done with that. And I think that's actually all I have to report. I know that Sierra's going to give you a minor update on our retroactive rules. If you'll remember, we have two rules packages sort of traveling simultaneously. So that's all I have.
Will her report to us, will that be inside your report? Or do we?
It's going to come up under
your?
new business, I think, or
Okay.
old business, or
Well,
I
we
can't
can go ahead and
remember where
vote
it is.
on accepting your report.
Correct.
Anybody?
I make a motion to accept the director's report. Commissioner Norton.
Second.
Okay.
Motion is to adopt the report made by Commissioner Norton, seconded by Commissioner Yarborough. Would you like a roll call, or would you like to do a voice vote?
We'll just do a voice. All those
Okay.
in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay.
You have adopted the director's report.
Legal?
Okay, so before we go over the changes that were made to the legal report during our legal review, I thought we could go ahead and discuss number 52, 53, and the represent number 107, which are all related, in case any changes are made to that. And then we can go over all changes and vote on the legal report. So, 52, I'm just going to give you kind of a brief overview of each of those, and then we can talk about it. I'll answer any questions you have. I know there's a lot of information here. So 52 is the complaint that was opened against the actual licensed location of this franchise dealer. And basically, we opened it after we investigated their showroom, which is at a different location. It does not have a license. And my recommendation is for a $15,000 civil penalty for failure to obtain a license at that second location, which is the showroom. Because they were advertising vehicles for sale there, kind of acting like it was a second dealership, even though they knew very well that it was not a licensed location, and they knew the limitations of a showroom because we had communicated that to them. Also to failure to supervise their salespersons that were working at that licensed location. They were going back and forth between the showroom and the licensed dealership, allowing test drives at the showroom. Now, they have told me they have since stopped the test drives, but that doesn't, they were doing it for some time. And then for off-site advertising of those vehicles online. If a consumer was to go online to their website, it looked like those cars were for sale at the showroom. Now, I do want to kind of drive home that the civil penalty for $20,000 under number 107 against the unlicensed showroom does cover the same violations that are in number 52 against our licensed location. So we are hitting them for mostly the same violations against their licensed location and against their unlicensed showroom. So I want to make sure that's clear. You have to decide if that is okay with you. The only different violation would be I guess the off-site sales, which they were test driving vehicles at the showroom. We don't have any evidence that any sales were actually made at that showroom. But that is kind of the only different violation that doesn't appear in both of these fines.
So essentially you're
Otherwise, they're
saying-
pretty duplicative.
Right, so the original $20,000 fine is for the other location. This is a $15,000 fine for the showroom location.
Right.
Just the opposite.
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. So the 20,000 is against the showroom, which you've already voted on. This 15,000 is against the licensed location. It's all of the same individuals involved, same owners, same, entity. So I just want to make that clear in case that bothers you. I want you to discuss it and decide if that is okay or not okay.
Are we charging him twice for the
Yes.
same thing?
Yes. Yes, the two locations, because we believed that they were acting like they had two dealerships, but they are the same violations. So I don't want, that to be misunderstood in case this goes to trial, and I don't want you to be, it to just be making sense at that time. I want to make sure you understand it now, so we can offer the penalty that you want to offer.
How close proximity are they?
About 30 miles.
Isn't that typical that our fines are typically tied to dealers, salespersons, and locations?
They are. I think the only difference here is in the past, we have had kind of a similar situation, but the two locations that we find kind of duplicatively were separately licensed locations. They had different salespeople. These are the same people going back and forth. So I do feel like that is a little bit of a unique situation to what we've done in the past. We've never had anything exactly like this. There's no different people involved, and there has been very different people involved in the past.
If they were doing things correctly, would each location need to have its own license?
Yes.
Okay, so if they were doing things correctly.
Right.
If they had both been licensed, both locations were licensed, and they were doing things incorrectly, we would have fines at both locations.
Right. If the situation was the same, yeah, if they were doing the same acts but had correctly been licensed, that is true.
But they're doing the same act, but we're charging them twice.
Right.
That one I'm trying
Because
to wrap my
one
head around.
location is not licensed, so they don't have the right to do all of the things that they were doing, the showroom. The other location is licensed. They're facilitating that with the showroom, that unlicensed activity. So I think Commissioner Levy said it best. when he said if all of the locations were licensed, if both were licensed, and you had the same wrongdoings at each of them, you would charge them separately.
How does the franchise let them have two different locations? Is there an existing, that same franchise, that 35-mile away, is there an existing store there?
So there is, you know, where they're licensed, there is an existing dealership. The confusion lies where if any of us were to go to their website, and it still has not been corrected, and I'll go over the communications we've had with them after I explain this, but if you were to go to their website for this franchise and look for a car to buy, it would direct you to the showroom, the unlicensed showroom, and the only thing that is offered at their actual licensed dealership is like, it's made to look like a service location. Like, this is where you take your car to get serviced. It's very confusing, very unclear. Their argument has been, well, nobody's filed a complaint saying they're confused. And to me, that is a non-issue. That's not the problem here.
So, I mean, whatever dealer is close to that 35-mile location and sells that same brand, this is infringing upon them.
There's only,
It's the same owner.
right.
But
He's saying there's another one.
Oh, right, right.
Same brand.
Right.
You know, they're having outreach to that
Right.
area without having a license.
Right, right.
I can't imagine the manufacturer's okay with that either.
Right. And, you know, and their argument also continues to be this is a unique business model. We haven't kind of changed our law to fit what's up and coming in the auto industry across the country. And again, I don't think that is a good argument. Our law is what it is, and that should have been checked before they invested money, rented a location, and did all of the things. And they're very much backpedaling now because they've been caught and they're frustrated. But we have met with the owners of both of these locations, the showroom and the licensed dealership. We talked to them in person with their attorney for quite a while at this office, explained all of these violations and what needed to be done to correct them. We were promised that we would be given some in writing, kind of an explanation of mitigating circumstances because they wanted to, request a reduction in the $20,000 civil penalty because that's the only one they know about right now. That's the only one you voted on. That's number 107. They are aware of these other two complaints that are on the report today, but obviously that fine hasn't been voted on. But they eventually emailed me, their attorney emailed me basically stating that we're compliant, we're committed to be compliant, we've cooperated, we stopped test drives. We don't think it's fair that you're, fining us for kind of the same violations. Your consent order is just basically one issue. So in response to that, I've kind of laid out in 107 all of the information I provided them. I provided them proof of the problem from their websites, of the confusion, what they're doing wrong. And I stated, basically, I appreciate your request for a reduction. I appreciate your email, but you've not given me any information about the steps you've taken to make this better, to make this right, to be compliant, to make the changes to your website that you needed to make. That was 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I've heard nothing. And they're very aware that this is being discussed today, and this was their chance to give us some reason to reduce their penalty. In my opinion, they've not taken this seriously. They have put in very little to no effort. And the fact that they've ignored all of the proof I've given them of the violations, I think speaks for itself, that they don't have a defense and they're just hoping for some leniency out of the goodness of your heart, I guess. And since then, we've also been notified with a picture that they have added in their showroom to their car that's in there, a monthly price on their windshield, which they didn't have before. So to me, that's just a new step in them advertising vehicles for sale at their showroom, which they're not supposed to be doing.
So,
Excuse me?
Which is supposed to be a service facility, so they say.
No, their showroom is just supposed to be like what you would see in a mall.
Yeah.
right? And they've since they met with us, since they talked to us about all these problems, they have added, you know, in shoe polish or whatever you use, the monthly price of what this vehicle would be to lease or buy. I don't think there's an actual like full price on there, but there is a number on there. So that's just,
So,
there's multiple. I just got a picture of like the one main one that's kind of like in their showroom. Right. And there, you know, it's just, to me, it's just more evidence of the lack of respect they have for what's going on here. We have not. There's no complaint against the manufacturer. You know, at this point, I feel like the responsibility is on this dealership and this unlicensed showroom.
When they initially wanted to have the showroom licensed and were denied based on not being compliant with our rules and regulations and laws with regard to the 3 parking spaces and display area and, you know, just a plethora of things. There's no parking area to display the vehicles or anything like that. We worked with them. We went out there and said, I'm sorry, this facility does not meet our requirements, but we're actually in the process of updating our rules, and here's an option. You could use this as a showroom as long in, you know, the retroactive rules that we're gonna talk about in just a minute, also have in them that we're gonna take out that issue about having a show permit, because a lot of these places wanna do just showrooms. And there's another similar type vehicle being offered for sale, and they actually have 2 locations, a showroom and now a licensed facility. And it is the exact same sort of model, and they have jumped through all kinds of hoops to ensure that they're compliant with our law, and they are literally just providing a showroom that has a vehicle there to be looked at. But as Erica said, I mean, y'all considered and talked about for a long time in April the $20,000 fine to that showroom, which is unlicensed, and they asked to meet with us. We came in, we met for a long time, went through all of these things, and told them at the time there are 2 other complaints because your licensed facility is also, you know, in violation, and another facility that they owned, which we didn't really talk about, they issued the easy tags from there. So it's all connected. But again, they were aware that this was going to be on the legal report today. This is really convoluted, and it's hard to go through without us calling names so we can, you know, we can connect the dots. But I think that's why Erica wanted to do it. They've had, you know, typically when you guys agree on a violation amount and you send that out in the form of a consent order, they have 30 days to respond. They are so far beyond 30 days and appear not to be interested, frankly, in, you know, responding one way or the other.
And I want to add too, what they have made a priority, which I think is important and relevant to show what their intention is. They were very quick to email me before they emailed me anything they promised after our meeting in person. They emailed me, well, can we apply for a license at the showroom again if we fix the parking issue? And I said, you can reapply anytime you want. If you want to talk to us about what your plan is before you invest any money or any of these steps, so we can make sure that you're going to be compliant. Because from what we've seen, it's hard to imagine it being fixed at that location. We wanted to try to work with them. But I said, you know, I've not heard from you at all about this consent order that I've put on hold for you, and that I'm waiting on this information you've promised me. That should be the priority here. And again, then I offered them another opportunity explain what they've done, and then I've been ignored. So I just wanted to put that out there. I think those things are.
So if I could back up just a step, please, just, when we're talking about these 3 locations, and it sounds like they're the same people, but is this 3 different companies owned by the same people, or are these one company with leases or ownership of 3 different locations?
Okay, so 52 and 107 are, first of all 3 are owned by the same automotive group. 52 and 52 and 107. 52 is the licensed dealership. 107 is the showroom. They are the same franchise car dealer.
So,
Number
so they're
53
the
is-
same company, or they're 2
Yes.
different companies, so it's the same
Yeah,
company?
same model, same make,
But the same
and same owner.
LLC or S Corp or whatever?
They're the same automotive group. That's all I know how to explain it. Owned by
Okay.
the same automotive group.
Because I was just trying to back up to the issue where you're saying they're not wanting to be treated as separate companies. They're saying that it's duplicative because it's the same company and the same charge, even though it's different locations. And I know that oftentimes in auto groups, each location will be at least 2 different companies. You know, one company that owns the land and one company that owns the franchise.
I think-
And an auto group that has shares in both of those entities. So
I think that 52 and 107 are, everybody involved is the exact same people, same owners, because the only
but
reason
exact
they.
same people and the exact same owners doesn't mean it's the exact same company.
Well, so the best way for me to describe it is the showroom was originally supposed to be their licensed dealership. It did not work out that way for them. So these same people went and got their license real quickly at this number 52 licensed location because their showroom wouldn't work.
One vehicle make at both of those
Yeah,
places.
but,
One vehicle.
but 53 is a completely different franchise dealer. They're owned by the same automotive group, but different people. They don't sell the same cars. They don't sell these cars. But they issued temporary tags to these cars sold
Yeah.
at the,
So there's
At
certainly different, but
Yeah.
like being the same franchise, I mean, like our Brentwood store and our Mount Juliet store are the same franchise owned by the same people, and there's 5 different companies involved in those 2 locations.
yeah, I don't think that is the case here because they only have one license. And they're just, the only reason they got that is because their showroom didn't work out.
And nor does that matter, because whether it's 1 person involved or 20 people
Well,
involved.
because it matters is because they're making the case that we're doing double jeopardy, that we're finding them
You know, what I'm saying
twice
is
for
that
the
doesn't
same
matter,
thing.
because whether there's 1 person involved or 20 people involved, our fines go to the location.
Okay, so our fines are location-driven, not company-driven. So
Right.
that's the key of the
Because
question.
every location should have their own license. There's
Okay.
no exception to that.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think that the people you're finding and talking to in this situation, I don't think they're saying that it's double jeopardy. Are they?
That's what their attorney implied
Okay.
in the communication with Erica. He
Well,
said,
let me ask you this then. Erica, do you think that we're on good standing not to get this thrown out and make us look like we're heavy-handed? I mean, will this be sellable when we have to defend it? Or if we have to defend it?
I feel confident that we have clear evidence of the violations that
Okay.
I've mentioned in each one of these cases. The only one that makes me a little bit hesitant is the failure to supervise employees. Because typically, they're different employees at different locations. These are the same people going back and forth. So it's hard for me to, that's the only one that I think there's a gray area in the argument that it's not duplicative.
but it's not as though the $20,000 fine that the commission assessed was $5,000
Yeah,
for
right.
failure to supervise, $5,000 for blah, blah, blah. It was an overall $20,000 fine because of all of the different things that went on. Even if you throw out failure to supervise, I mean, I don't think that,
I believe we're giving them a break with the amount of fines that we're, I've mentioned different violations, but I don't think we're holding them accountable for those violations, like per violation here. I think they're getting a good settlement offer with a $15,000 fine against their license location. I don't think they're being held accountable for every single thing that we could, not even close.
But to summarize where we are today, the 20,000 from last time, that's already voted on and in process.
Right.
Today, just to make sure we were very clear, you brought it to our attention that now the license location is subject to a $15,000 fine because of violations. And this third location, which is doing stuff, is subject to a $3,000 fine.
Right.
And you were just, for full transparency, making sure you recognize that we're imposing more fines on 2 different locations, even though we've already done one somewhere else.
Right, right. Because I know how much time and effort and traveling and all of the things that it's going to take to, if this goes to trial, which there's a chance it could, I didn't want you to find that out then and be, for that to have changed your mind or that to have been a major factor. That, I wanted to make that clear.
And just making myself clear, I want to make sure that we don't leave any kinks in the armor, that we can defend what we have fined.
Right. And if it goes to trial, all of the things that are in here, I have clear evidence of. You are free to assess whatever civil penalty you want at a trial. So this 15,000, this 20,000, it doesn't matter at trial. You can fine for what I have proven to you, or what they've proven to you. So that is thrown out the window. This is just an offer for them to settle it now and not have to go through all that. And I feel very confident in that.
and I think one of the reasons that we didn't have these other 2 on the April report, because we couldn't really do that. We needed to deal with the unlicensed location first. But I think the reason that Erica is going to such pains is we don't think they're going to respond, and it's going to go to a hearing. So we wanted you all to be prepared for that, if and when that might happen.
I want to thank you for clarifying that our standard is by doing it by location, because if that's the case, I think we can just set that aside and know that it's 3 different locations and that is how we do it, and just treat that as a non-issue.
Right, right. So really today, you've got 52 and 53. You've never voted on it. We kind of talked about it last time because they're all involved. So you have to vote on those 2 today. 107 is on the report because out of respect for them, I told them I would represent it because I thought they were going to give me valid information, mitigating circumstances. I don't feel they've done that. I explained everything I could possibly explain in 107, gave you probably way more than you wanted. But just for full transparency purposes, I rarely do not recommend a reduction when I represent. And this is just a unique case that I think that they've not given me anything to make me comfortable in reducing the civil penalty.
I think you're correct in that, and I support you in that, because they've not given you any additional info. They've not taken it seriously, whether it's the right amount or not. I mean, I think we stick to it. It's already done. I don't think we change it. That's my personal opinion. It doesn't have to be the rest of the commissioners. But the only question I have is 52, 53 defendable?
Yes.
And it's not going to be looked at as piling on?
I don't think so. And if they want to argue, it will all come down to what is presented in trial. And if you feel that it is, then you can make a different decision at trial. You'll get to go over all this, all the evidence.
So we can change.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you feel like it's piling on after we both present our sides, then you don't have to assess fines for that.
Commissioner Galvin, if it goes to trial, it's gonna cost a whole lot more than 15,000 or 20,000.
Right.
I don't think they're gonna want that to happen. I think they want us good old boys just to think to make it go away.
I think that they
we keep
thought
what we're doing
that.
and just vote with your recommendation, and we just see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's call their bluff.
I think if I had to summarize this in like one sentence, it would be they are really confused about this and they've not put the effort in to figure it out.
I think that could be true.
And it's on them. It's their fault that they're confused about it. We've tried, and it's just not worked.
What's your pleasure on 52 and 53, or y'all want to discuss it some more?
What, do you want to also just present the other changes, and then we can discuss all of them at once and maybe
Okay.
make a motion?
We don't need to take those two separately first and then vote on the whole thing? Okay.
Yeah, we can vote on the whole thing. I'll just go over the three changes that were made during the legal review.
Okay.
So on number 55, the recommendation has been changed to a $10,000 civil penalty. On number 72, the recommendation has been changed to a $10,000 civil penalty. And on number 103, we are going to hold that, do some more investigation, and we will present it at a later date when we have more information. Otherwise, there's no other changes.
And leave 52 and 53 as they are.
Right.
We have not voted on 52 or 53 as of now, right? We have not voted
No.
on those? Okay. I'll make sure.
Yeah.
Right, so now we would discuss, are there any more changes that we need to make to the legal report, including 52, 53? And if not,
We're ready to vote.
we're ready to vote. So I make a motion that we accept the legal report as amended.
Second. Commissioner Galvin.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, let's call roll on this vote.
And let me remind several members before you vote to provide a comment. The motion is to adopt as amended, made by Commissioner Levy, seconded by Commissioner Galvin. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Morgan?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
I am abstaining on number 64 due to prior knowledge and otherwise voting aye.
Commissioner Galvin?
I vote aye, except I'd like to be rescued on number 11 and number 29.
Thank you. Commissioner Norton?
I'd like to recuse myself from number 3, and I'd like to abstain from voting.
Abstains. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Evans? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts?
Aye.
Votes aye. You have adopted the legal report as amended by both the legal committee and in the full commission meeting.
Okay, next is new business. And Prestige Motors.
Okay, so under new business, we wanted to bring something to your attention. Oh, okay.
Okay, so I just had some rule updates. I'll try to make it as quickly as possible. So the retrospective rule review package that we discussed in March has made it through our internal review and is ready to be filed with the governor's office for their pre-review. During the internal review, a couple changes were made that we want you to be aware of. The initial fee increases, those go into effect on September 15th, as Denise stated. In that package, several fees were not increased by mistake. So in the retrospective rule review package, we plan to raise 4 fees that were omitted. We are now only increasing 2 of those fees. Even so, we don't anticipate that this change will have a significant impact on anticipated revenues. The 2 license fees that will remain the same are as follows. For each duplicate license, the fee will remain at $25. And for each automotive mobility dealer, the fee will remain at $400. The following changes are moving forward. For each application for endorsement of change of employer of a motor vehicle salesperson by an employer, the fee will increase from $35 to $50. For each name change, including additional line make, the fee will increase from $400 to $600. The license fee for a show permit is being removed. We are making changes to the rule regarding motor vehicle shows and displays to more accurately depict existing shows and displays. The changes include deleting the word show and replacing it with display in one paragraph. We are removing certain language from paragraph 8, and we are deleting paragraphs 2 through 6. A rule that states that we're adding a rule that states that dealers will be required to submit a new application and notify the commission within 30 days of their anticipated move date if they are relocating. And finally, in chapter 2 of the rules, there will still be 3 rules added. And these rules show up in chapter 1, and they are the rule that allows the commission to assess a civil penalty for each separate violation of statute, rule, or order. The rule that states that all licensees must comply with all applicable state and federal laws and regulations. and the rule that requires licensees and entities or individuals to respond to communication they receive from the commission within 30 days when the commission is requesting a response. You don't have to vote on anything. This is just us providing an update on those rules. So hopefully we'll get the package filed with the governor's office. I'm gonna try today.
Okay, so under new business, I wanted to bring something to your attention. If you remember, we have had quite a few appeals related to Dylan Trent and Jamie Tharp. And DWD, we had denied each of them dealership licenses separately. I believe Dylan Trent came first. We denied his license based on his criminal record. And then he began working with his, I guess, business partner, Jamie Tharp, who then applied for a dealership under the name of the dealership that Dylan Trent was trying to use. We denied that for various reasons, which we discussed in full, I think, at the March meeting. Well, Jamie Tharp has since sent in another application for a dealer license, changing the name of the dealership, but it's still at the same location, same address. He was not honest on the application about the question asking if you've ever been denied a license before. We just denied him in March. He put no. So we were able to deny him on that factor. And then on top of that, we kind of did a little digging and investigating and found that that address where the dealership, where the application is for, there's two businesses associated with it. This new dealership name, and then the DWD is still under the Secretary of State. They have a business license, and they're still using that location. So that means all this possible unlicensed activity under DWD that we discussed, I had the whole PowerPoint, I had put up, social media, under, to show you all of the things that DWD was advertising vehicles for sale. Mr. Trent was selling cars without a license before we gave him a salesperson's license. So all of those problems still exist, and DWD is very much associated with this address still. They've not fixed that problem. We've made it clear when we denied them that those were the issues, and that's why they were being denied. We've not heard anything other than, well, we want to appeal. We just heard that, I think, last week. So obviously, we didn't have time to have that appeal today. But we wanted to bring that to your attention because we've denied and appealed and had the same discussion so many times that we've talked with upper management. You can vote on the record today on whether or not you want to allow and entertain another appeal discussion, or if you want to give a time frame. Because I know that was discussed, you guys had mentioned to Mr. Trent and Mr. Tharp, maybe you go work under a licensed dealership for, a certain amount of time, and then you can come back. Well, it appears they've not done any of those things. So you can decide if you want to not entertain any more appeals for a certain amount of time for both of them, or separately, however you want to do it. But I wanted to give you that opportunity before we just assumed you'd be okay with hearing another appeal in October for the same thing.
Erica, let me ask you this. You said he's got two prior businesses already there. This one that he's applying for now would be three?
No, that's the second.
That's to be the second one.
Yeah, it's they both have like a separate business entity under the Secretary of State, both using that address, and that's prohibited in our statute and rules. You can't have two businesses at the same location. So we were able to deny on both of the dishonesty and the two businesses at one location.
I think we should do a time frame.
I could not agree more. We spent so much time on this the last time and tried to help him every single time.
Yeah. I think 1 year.
Supposedly, Old Ben Franklin, we don't even know that that's. Yes.
Well, he's got a salesman license.
But selling at the wrong
But
location.
then
Right.
the other location is still registered at this.
And all of the things we talked about that are being put out there to consumers online, none of that has changed.
Remind me again what DWE stands for again?
Dealing with Dylan.
Yeah.
Our influencer.
Yeah.
Hey, I think we need to do a year.
I
Okay.
completely agree with that.
So
Completely
we
agree.
will, you guys will have to vote on that, but what I'm hearing is we will communicate to Mr. Trent and Mr. Tharp both that the commission will not entertain another appeal for 1 year from today?
Yes.
Okay.
So July of 2026, and the motion would be, the commission will not entertain an appeal from either Mr. Tharp, presumably for Prestige, or Mr. Trent for DWD.
Or any of the related new names that they come up with.
But does that mean they can't appeal until after 1 year from today, meaning that the first time we hear from them is October of 2026?
First time you would hear would be July. The first time, yes, July.
Right, so the motion would be that we will not entertain any appeals from them until the July 2026 meeting.
Can we specify it has to be a year from the last time they asked? A year from the last time they asked, kind of a rolling year?
Well, that would have been last week.
That would make it even shorter, so let's just keep it,
Yeah, fair enough.
let's just keep it a year, next year.
Get in October.
Yeah. So,
A question for the staff?
so we don't have to vote on that, we just are giving you
Yeah, and
guidance.
I guess if I would, we do need to vote on it, but I think if you'll add to it and just, if you'll allow me a little latitude, to say, not only will we not entertain an appeal, but nor will we entertain an application for a new.
Just for the ownership, we just want to make sure that the ownership of that dealership or those applications are included with your motion.
So that
JB
someone
Tharp,
else couldn't do
Dylan
it
Trent.
besides him?
Just so he couldn't come in and try to submit an application for another dealership under a different name.
So all associations, is that what you're saying?
You can say
Any affiliated?
affiliated dealers
Okay.
within that ownership of Mr. Trent and, what's the other guy's name? I'm off, we can go on now.
What, I don't remember what should they have been doing? Didn't we tell them to properly submit a dealership
So,
application?
yes, they were instructed to remove all of DWD from that location if that's where he was going to be operating, change the name, remove the unlicensed sales advertisements off of line, and for Dylan Trent to go work at a different dealer for a year, get experience, and then he could try to reapply if it was his father, I believe, became licensed. He resubmitted an application for that dealership without removing DWD from the Secretary of State listed as a business there, without removing anything online, without showing any demonstration that Dylan is no longer working there, and then also lied on an application.
Okay, so I think what you're saying is the motion would be for, 1 year moratorium for any application related to a dealership associated with DWD in any way.
Correct.
I have a question that's not related to the vote, but you say he's still doing the same thing. Does he have an attached sales license with any dealership right now? Oh, he does.
Old Ben Franklin.
Oh, Ben, okay, all right, good.
This may be nuanced, but whoever said from above we could say no appeals, did they say we can also say no more applications? We can only, right, it's two different things. I don't know that we can stop them from applying,
That's a good question.
but we could say we're not going to
Yeah,
hear an
I don't know that
appeal.
you can restrict the application process, but if they apply and they show everything that they've got everything corrected, then I guess presumably they'd be approved. But if they can't remove all evidence of DWD associated with wherever they're trying to open a dealership, they would be denied, and then we're denying their ability to
Yeah.
appeal.
I just want to
for
make sure
a
we
year.
don't overreach what we're allowed to do,
Yes,
which is
yeah.
to say we won't hear an appeal, but they're free to still follow the laws and attempt to apply.
Right, right.
And then you'll deny them and
Right.
they won't be able to appeal.
They are free to apply, and if we do not have a valid legal reason to deny them, then we would have to approve, and there would be no appeal. So it's only if we have a valid denial, we're not going to entertain any more of these appeals till July of 2026.
And the purpose of this is just because they've had multiple appeals in front of you already, and so each application we've received has had a legal issue, and so they've been denied, and so I know there's just been a lot of internal discussion about how many times are they going to come back to appeal the same issue and have the same discussion and the same evidence shown each time. And so we just wanted the commission to have a option to deny appeal until a certain period of time.
Do we have any way to monitor Dylan that he doesn't go like somebody else?
We can keep inspections on them if they do become licensed and send out investigators out there to see if any unlicensed activity is conspiring over at that location, which I do think the program has been keeping a close eye on everything going on over there.
Yeah, I have had pretty frequent communication with the county clerk over there, and so they're being extremely helpful as well to look out for this. I think the biggest thing was when Mr. Tharp applied, he was like, okay, I'm going to do this in my name since there seemed to be so many issues with my son, but he's at the same location that the son still has an active license. It's an LLC, and, you know, he doesn't necessarily consider himself a salesman, but he's a marketer, so.
Well, I make a motion that we issue a one-year moratorium from hearing any appeals related to any dealership application connected to DWD.
Correct.
Commissioner Vaughn, second.
You've heard the motion, so aptly put by Commissioner Levy. Commissioner Levy?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Yarborough?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Rydell?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Morgan? Votes aye. Commissioner Copenhaver? Votes aye. Commissioner Andrews?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Galvin?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Norton?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Vaughn?
Aye.
Votes aye. Commissioner Owens? Votes aye. Commissioner Kramer? Votes aye. Commissioner Evans? Votes aye. And Chairman Roberts. You have adopted the motion.
Do we need to do the same thing for Mr. Tharp?
We included him. So Prestige or DWD, or Barb. Right. Yeah. No.
Old business,
Initiative to have electronic title in the state of Tennessee, and this commission supported it. All the dealers supported it, and we've stayed in touch with the process. Bill was passed. The Department of Revenue has been tasked to procure electronic lien and title system by June 30th, 2026. And this would facilitate the exchange of lien and title information, allow the creation, storage, alteration, and transfer of titles electronically. Now, we've been staying in touch with personnel that are involved in this. The committees are involved in this, and they're on task. It's moving slow, but I think they've pretty much are close to securing a vendor, and we're excited about that, and we're hopeful that they're going to be on time and have that in place by June 30th of 2026. We bring this up in the commission so we can be aware of it and stay aware of it and keep everyone on task to make sure it happens. I'm very proud of the state of Tennessee for not being in last place and getting this done.
That's a great update. Thanks for sharing that with everybody.
Pardon?
I said great update. Thanks for
Thank
sharing
you,
that.
Thank you. I think we have public comment today.
And, well, we've got public comments if there's.
Yes, turn your mic on.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Turned it off for the others. But anyway, we've got a John Davachi. Is that how you say it, pronounce it? Would like to address us about, from the Tennessee Independent Auto Association. You have the floor.
Hey, Commission. John Davachi, the leader dealer from Gillisville, Tennessee, current president of TNIDA, the Tennessee Independent Automobile Dealer Association. Just want to give you all some quick update of what's going on with the association, what we're doing, what we have done. First, I just want to thank y'all for allowing me to speak and recognize the members of our board who are also present. First is Chris Pollock from Knoxville, Tennessee, Cherokee Automotive. It's Leo Solis from LP Automotive, I believe out in Shelbyville. Karen Brown, our executive director. And Pierce Reeves, Wayne Reeves software that thousands and thousands of dealers across United States use. And so TNIDA, we have our new and active dealer training sessions, which we've been putting on, the 7th of which is next month, August 27th in Chattanooga. Karen's been doing a great job of building the momentum on that. So we've been doing education sessions most of the time at the auction, in which dealers will come and we'll have a vendor, have some networking and present some education topics. From Tennessee, we had a strong turnout at our national convention earlier this past month. We were top 5 in the nationwide for the number of attendees, which the association has had a resurgence of growth, and we're building that momentum. Also, the Tennessee dealers participated in leading education sessions at these conventions. At Buy Here, Pay Here United, which was a convention in Vegas in April, I believe, myself, they asked me to do an education session, but also a couple of our other board members, Matt Nyberger, Ben Kittrell, they also led some education sessions. So Tennessee dealers leading the education, not only, nationwide, but, at a peer-to-peer level as well. Month or so ago, we met with State Senator Jack Johnson, discussed a little bit about that ELT, just kind of touch bases, and about also we shared a list for the ELT, some guidelines that other states have found as far as like pricing rules and regulations. It is very important that, being mindful of the vendors that we choose, that being able to at least cap or set a reasonable range of prices that they are allowed to charge the dealers. And also we discussed service contract. Consumers in Tennessee are plagued by some misleading mailers every time they buy a car about some service contracts. We raised some questions about the legality of that. The Tennessee TNIDA, we've developed a education platform. So there currently is a beta platform online that we've built out that's like a dealer school for the pre-licensing. And so, we're talking about maybe when the dealers go to apply initially, this is an education platform that is currently in place for one track is for the federal rules, but one track is Tennessee state specific. We're talking about the MVC requirements, talking about corporate structure, established place of business quiz, a zoning compliance quiz, business sales tax licenses, about the surety bond, about salesperson license. And at the end of it, they'll have to, sit through it. They'll have to complete quizzes every step of the way. And at the end they have some sort of certificate that they can print out, or they can also save it as an online file, use it as a supporting attachment on their dealer license application, to support the fact that, when they check yes, are they familiar with the rules, laws, and regulations? At least they got some certificate that, backs it up. And then also, it is when we do roll out ELT, it's going to be very important to educate the dealers. The TNIDA's dealer school is the perfect place for the dealers to reach out to for that knowledge. Whether it be mandated or not, we want to be able to offer it to the dealers. It is very crucial for their success. But before we roll it out, I do ask for a state rep, probably across a couple different departments, so they can look at it from the lens of their focus. But, to go through that pre-licensing platform, just so you guys can help us confirm if all the information there is compliant, if it's valid, or if we're missing anything. I'm also pleased to announce that TNIDA will be throwing our first state convention in many years here this November 11th at the Lowe's Vanderbilt Hotel. right after the National Buy Here, Pay Here Dealer Forum, we're having our Tennessee Independent Automobile Dealer Association Conference. So the Buy Here, Pay Here Dealer Forum, which dealers from all across the country are coming to the Lowe's Vanderbilt in November for the forum. And as soon as it ends, their commencement speaker is our keynote speaker. Is our opening speaker. And so, and for Tennessee, we're just going to have a one-day session. We're going to put on some education sessions. Is going to have some peer-to-peer discussions, some vendors there, but also the breakout sessions we're still solidifying. I do welcome and do want and request some feedback on the topics. Of what topics of discussion do you all, Motor Vehicle Commission, feel like is important for the dealers? Maybe perhaps some common pitfalls that you guys see reoccur. What are some important topics that you wish that be brought to the forefront of dealers' attention? A couple of them that we've already kind of carved out. One of them is a session on title fraud and the proper process. We are connected with a couple vendors that, if a consumer walks in with a car and a title, how can you verify that that's the actual, true, most current title to that vehicle? That's one of the things. And then another session on transportation logistics, like being able to verify transporters' insurance or look up a DOT number or what have you. There's been plenty of that type of fraud and criminal activity. Just best practices and all that. Anything else, Karen?
Can't think of anything. We just really appreciate it.
Yes.
And I would just like to say the policy conference in DC is coming up September 15th and 16th. So we have about 9 representatives attending this year. And so we keep growing and expanding in DC at the policy conference, and we're excited. We believe we've got a Tennessee speaker at the PAC committee, and that's it. Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate y'all. Let me speak.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you coming up. Anything else? We're pretty well over.
I think you would entertain a motion to adjourn, Mr.
Oh, I
Chair.
will. I
So
certainly will.
moved.
Second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Knew a plural vote would work on that one.
It does.